Welcome to a deep dive that, well, it promises to unlock some timeless wisdom for today's challenges. We're taking a journey back, way back to the 18th century, but believe me, the insights are surprisingly relevant to your life right now. We've got a really fantastic source for this one. It's an audiobook summary of Benjamin Franklin's classic, The Way to Wealth. And this isn't just, some dusty old historical text.
Not at all.
It's really a practical guide to prosperity, sure, but also virtue, self-discipline. It first came out in 1758, actually as a preface to his famous Poor Richard's Almanac.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating, I think, is how Franklin's basic message holds up. Focusing on industry frugality, prudence, these ideas as paths to success, to happiness, they still feel so potent even centuries later. So our mission today, really, is to pull out those core nuggets of wisdom and see how they actually apply to, well, all the distractions, the debt, the consumer culture we face now.
Okay, so what does this all mean for you listening? It means we're going to unpack Franklin's simple but really profound advice. We'll hear it through his characters like Poor Richard and the wise old Father Abraham. So yeah, get ready for maybe some aha moments that might just shift how you think about wealth and, well, well-being in general. All right, let's dive right in. Franklin's first big warning, something he saw eating away at people even back then: idleness. Father Abraham put it very starkly, sloth, like rust, consumes faster than labor wears. That hits hard. It's not just about being physically lazy, is it? It seems more about time itself, like time is an asset.
Exactly. Exactly that. And the really deep insight there is how many opportunities we actually lose just by not acting, by letting time just sort of slip through our fingers. Franklin was adamant about this. Time isn't just something you spend. He called it the very stuff life is made of. So if we connect that to today, what's the modern rust? That subtle thing constantly draining our potential.
That's a really interesting way to put it. The modern rust. I think for a lot of us, maybe it's not just sitting doing nothing. It's more like passive consumption. The endless scrolling on your phone, the binge-watching shows without really thinking, all those notifications popping up. We feel busy, but often there's no real intention behind it, right?
Right.
It's almost like we're squandering time, even when we think we're being, quote-unquote, productive.
Precisely. Franklin was really pushing for a proactive, intentional approach to every single day. It's about waking up with a purpose, staying focused, and really understanding that every hour counts. It's not about being frantic or stressed, but just deliberate with your most valuable resource.
Right. Okay, so if Franklin tells us not to squander time, what should we do with it instead? That's where industry comes into play, isn't it? He insisted industry need not wish, which I take to mean it's not about luck. It's about consistent hard work actually opening doors. How does that translate for someone today who feels maybe suck, or like they're just waiting for their big break?
Well, Franklin's observation was quite profound. At the working man's house, hunger looks in but dares not enter. That really captures the idea, doesn't it? Diligence keeps hardship away. So for you today, it's a strong call to action, to move past just dreaming or putting things off. Wealth, success. He really believed they aren't built on luck or who you know, but on actually showing up, putting in the effort, pushing forward with discipline. It's about making your own opportunities through steady, consistent action.
Okay, but even if you're industrious, working hard, there's another crucial piece, right? Franklin says industry isn't enough on its own. It needs its partner, frugality. He warns us, beware of little expenses. A small leak will sink a great ship. Wow. In our world of subscriptions, microtransactions everywhere, that feels more relevant than ever.
Absolutely. It's incredibly relevant. And Franklin isn't saying you have to live miserably or deprive yourself of everything. It's really about smart resource management, wise choices. His famous line, "A penny saved is 2 pence clear," is just so powerful when you think about it. It means the money you don't spend is actually worth more than money you earn.
How so?
Because it's tax-free, for one, and it breaks that cycle of always needing more just to keep up. It lets you save for the future, maintain real financial independence. Think about those hidden leaks today, maybe subscriptions you don't use, those impulse buys online, even the daily coffee habit that really genuinely adds up.
And speaking of expenses, Franklin had a particularly strong take on debt. He said, rather go to bed supperless than rise in debt. That's such a powerful image. It really highlights the psychological weight of owing money. But, I mean, in an age of easy credit, buy now, pay later, everywhere. Does that advice even feel possible for many people today?
It's a huge challenge, no question about it, a really huge challenge. But Franklin saw debt fundamentally as a trap, something that robs you of your peace, your choices, even your dignity. His observation that creditors have better memories than debtors, that speaks volumes, doesn't it? About the constant stress debt puts on you. He was basically urging a pretty radical idea for today. Live within your means, delay gratification. It's a message that really hits home, even if it feels totally countercultural now, with credit cards and loans so easy to get. He's reminding us that quick pleasure often comes at the cost of long-term freedom.
Okay, so beyond debt, Franklin also called out pride and vanity as, well, major roadblocks to real wealth and well-being. He painted this really vivid picture. Pride breakfasted with plenty, dined with poverty, and supped with infamy. Oof, this isn't just about spending money, is it? It's about why you spend. Spending to impress other people, often just for, temporary social approval.
Yeah, and what's incredibly sharp here is how Franklin nails this down. He basically described it as buying things you do not need with money you do not have to impress people you do not like.
Wow, that's correct.
It really is. It's a direct hit on consumerism driven by appearances, which, let's face it, is supercharged today by social media. He believed real wealth was measured differently, by independence, by virtue, by peace of mind, not by what others think or what's fashionable for 5 minutes. So this really challenges you to look, honestly, at your own reasons for buying things. Are you doing it for yourself or for an audience?
And thinking about achieving goals, Franklin wasn't a fan of just hoping for the best. He that lives upon hope will die fasting, he declared. A warning against just being optimistic without a concrete plan. It's all about being intentional. I wonder what he'd make of our modern tendency to try and manifest things without the practical steps.
He likely stressed the action part over mere wishful thinking. Definitely. Franklin famously said, "By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail." That's such a core statement about needing a clear roadmap. He championed clear goals, yes, but also focused attention and practical tools, things like routines, schedules, careful budgeting to actually gain control over your life. It's about channeling your energy effectively, not just scattering it, hopefully.
Okay, here's something that really struck me. I have to admit, when I first started digging into this, I kind of expected mostly financial tips, saving, working hard. But what genuinely surprised me, and I think is incredibly powerful, is how deeply Franklin linked wealth to personal virtue. Things like honesty, integrity, moderation, humility, they weren't just side notes. They were absolutely central to his idea of a good, successful life. He noted, "It is easier to suppress the first desire than to satisfy all that follow." Can you maybe unpack that a bit?
Sure. It really gets to the heart of his belief that character is capital. Your character is like an asset, a strong reputation, one built on your word, on your moral strength. That's the foundation for trust. And trust leads to opportunity, to long-term success. So his advice goes way beyond just money. It becomes deeply ethical. It reminds you that how you build your wealth matters just as much as how much you accumulate. Virtue isn't some separate thing you pursue on Sundays. It's woven right into the fabric of sustainable success and, importantly, peace of mind.
And, if you're maybe looking for reasons not to act or excuses not to change, Franklin had a pretty sharp word for that, too. He that is good for making excuses is seldom good for anything else. Ouch. In a world that often seems to encourage blaming external factors, how vital is that message of personal responsibility today?
Oh, it's absolutely fundamental, foundational. This is his really unwavering call for personal accountability. Take ownership. Instead of blaming bad luck or the economy or other people, Franklin pushed individuals to look for solutions themselves, to adapt, to persevere. He believed that the habit of taking responsibility is one of the most powerful keys there is, both for wealth and for personal freedom. It's really about owning your own agency in your life story.
So, as Father Abraham finishes his big speech in the story, he makes this crucial point. Hearing wisdom is one thing, right? But actually applying it is something else entirely. He says, if you would be wealthy, think of saving as well as getting. Simple, but profound. And here's where Franklin's own wit comes through. He kind of wryly observes that many people in the crowd applauded Father Abraham's words, and then they just went right back to their old ways, their old spending habits.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Are you truly internalizing these lessons? Or just nodding along? The message couldn't be clearer. Wisdom doesn't do any good unless it's actually put into practice. Franklin's whole work here, through Poor Richard, through Father Abraham, it's fundamentally a call to action, not just thinking about things, but changing things. It's about transformation through actually doing it. Application.
Well, we've reached the end of our deep dive into Benjamin Franklin's The Way to Wealth.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible, really, how these core principles, industry, frugality, discipline, virtue, responsibility feel just as vital today as they must have over 250 years ago.
Absolutely. And if we try to connect this to the bigger picture, you see Franklin's wisdom really goes beyond just financial tips. It's more like a call to live intentionally, to build a life that's not just about material success, important as that might be, but also about wisdom, peace, fulfillment. It reminds you that true wealth isn't only about what you gain, but maybe more importantly, about how you choose to live.
Benjamin Franklin, as we mentioned, Riley noted that many who applauded Father Abraham's words then proceeded to ignore them. And this really raises a critical question for you listening right now. In our modern age, an age just filled with distractions, with constant pushes for immediate gratification, how challenging is it, and yet how crucial is it to truly apply this kind of timeless wisdom in your daily life? Something to think about. Now, if you're keen to explore more guides like this or just find more engaging audio content, we do recommend checking out Audible. You can actually get access to the first month free, enjoy a whole variety of audiobooks, podcasts that might interest you. Just click the link you'll find in the description. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep digging.